What if a cheap laser level could actually deliver the kind of accuracy people usually expect from expensive tools? It sounds unlikely, almost unrealistic, because in construction, accuracy isn't just important, it's everything. One small mistake in leveling can lead to serious problems: crooked tiles, uneven door frames, misaligned ceilings, and fixing those mistakes later, that costs time, it costs money, and more importantly, it affects your reputation. Now, here's the problem. Most tools you see online look impressive in ads. They show perfect lines, perfect setups, perfect results. But real job sites are not perfect. You deal with dust, uneven surfaces, lighting issues, and constant movement. And that's exactly where tools either prove themselves or completely fail. So today, we're putting a budget laser level through real-world testing conditions. No studio setup, no artificial environment, just practical use, the way it actually happens on site. And the tool we're testing is Tavool Atom X5 Laser Level. Now, this device is marketed as a budget-friendly solution, but the real question is, can it actually perform when it matters? Is it something you can rely on for real construction work? Or is it just another entry-level tool that looks good online but struggles in reality? Because at the end of the day, you don't need a tool that just works sometimes. You need something consistent, something predictable, something that helps you avoid costly mistakes. So, in this video, we're going to test everything: accuracy, stability, real-world usability, and by the end, you'll know exactly whether this tool is worth your money or not. Before we jump into testing, let's talk about something most reviews completely ignore: real conditions. Because here's the truth. Most laser-level reviews are done in controlled environments: flat surfaces, perfect lighting, no interruptions, and under those conditions, almost every tool looks good. But construction sites are different. You're dealing with uneven floors, walls that aren't perfectly straight, lighting that changes throughout the day, and sometimes you're working under pressure. So the real question is not, does this tool work in perfect conditions? The real question is, does it still work when conditions are not perfect? And that's exactly what we're testing today. We're not just checking if the laser line looks straight. We're checking, does it stay consistent over time? Does it hold accuracy across distance? Does it remain usable in different environments? Because a tool that works once is not reliable. A tool that works consistently is valuable. And that's the difference between a good purchase and a bad one. So, as we go through this review, keep one thing in mind. We're not trying to prove this tool is perfect. We're trying to find out if it's practical, if it can help you work faster, reduce mistakes, and deliver consistent results on a real job site. Now, with that clear, let's move into the first real step: build quality and first impressions. Let's start with the first thing you notice when you pick up any tool: build quality, because this tells you a lot about what to expect. The Tavool Atom X5 laser level is compact and lightweight, and that's actually a big advantage. On a job site, you don't want bulky tools. You want something easy to carry, easy to position, and quick to set up. Now, the body is made of plastic, which is expected in this price range. But here's the important part: it doesn't feel cheap. It feels simple but functional. And there's a difference. The edges are clean, the grip is decent, and the overall design is focused on usability rather than appearance. Another important feature is the mounting option. You can easily place it on a tripod, which is essential for maintaining stable positioning during work. Now let's talk about controls. This device keeps things very minimal. No complex buttons, no confusing settings, just simple operation. And in real working conditions, that's exactly what you want, because the more complicated a tool is, the more time you waste trying to figure it out, and time on site is always limited. So from a design perspective, this tool is not trying to impress you. It's trying to be practical, and so far, it does that well. Now let's move to something even more important than build: how it actually performs when you turn it on. Now let's power this device on and see what happens, because this is where many tools start to show their weaknesses. You press the button and the laser activates almost instantly. There's no delay, no waiting time, and that's important, because on a job site, every second matters. Now let's look at the beam itself. The laser lines appear clearly indoors. They are sharp, well-defined, and easy to follow, which is exactly what you need for marking and alignment.
We also tested the stability. We left the device running for an extended period of time, and here's what we observed. The beam remained consistent. No flickering, no sudden dimming, no instability. That's a very good sign, because consistency is more important than initial performance. A tool that works for 5 minutes is useless. A tool that works reliably for hours is valuable. Another important observation, the device did not overheat, even after continuous use, which means you can use it for longer tasks without worrying about performance drop. Now, is this the brightest razor on the market? No, but for indoor use, it's more than sufficient. And more importantly, it's predictable. You know what to expect every time you turn it on. And in construction work, that predictability is what builds trust in a tool. Now let's move to the most critical part, accuracy testing. Now we move into the most important test of all, horizontal accuracy, because this is where everything matters. A laser level that is not accurate is completely useless. So, we set up the Tavool Atom X5 laser level facing a flat wall. We project the horizontal beam across the surface. At first glance, everything looks straight, but visual inspection is not enough. So, we go deeper. We mark multiple points along the laser line. Then we compare those points with a chalk reference line. We also measure distances between points to detect any variation. And here's what we found. At short distances, the alignment is very consistent. The deviation is minimal, almost negligible. As we increase the distance, a slight variation begins to appear. But this is expected in this category. Now here's the key point. For most indoor construction tasks, this level of accuracy is completely acceptable. For example, tile installation, wall leveling, interior layout work. These tasks do not require extreme precision. They require consistent reference lines, and that's exactly what this tool provides. Another important factor is the line visibility, because even if a tool is accurate, if you can't see the line clearly, it becomes useless. But here, the line is visible enough for indoor work, clear enough to mark, and stable enough to trust. So overall, in horizontal testing, the performance is practical, not perfect, but reliable, and that's what makes it useful.
Now that we've completed the horizontal accuracy test, let's break down what these results actually mean in real-world terms. Because numbers and measurements are one thing, but practical usability is what really matters. The Tavool Atom X5 laser level showed minimal deviation at short to medium distances, and that's exactly the range where most indoor work happens. Think about typical construction tasks: tile installation, wall alignment, kitchen fittings, interior layouts. In these situations, you're usually working within a controlled space. You're not measuring extremely long distances. So what you need is not perfect laboratory-grade accuracy. You need consistency. And that's where this tool performs well. It gives you a stable reference line that you can trust during your work. Now, let's be honest. If you were expecting zero deviation at all distances, that's unrealistic for any budget laser level. Even higher-end tools require calibration checks. So the real question becomes, is the deviation small enough to not affect your work? And in this case, the answer is yes, because the variation is within a range that most construction tasks can tolerate. Another important factor is ease of use. You don't need to overthink it. You place the tool, turn it on, and follow the line. That simplicity speeds up your workflow, and faster workflow means more productivity. So from a practical point of view, the horizontal performance is not just acceptable, it's usable. And usability is what makes a tool valuable on site. Now let's move to vertical alignment. And this is just as important as horizontal leveling, because vertical errors can create serious issues in construction. Think about door frames, wall partitions, column alignments. If the vertical line is even slightly off, the entire structure can look wrong. So we tested the Tavool Atom X5 laser level using a plumb reference. This gives us a true vertical benchmark. At close range, the laser line aligns very closely with the plumb line, which is a good sign of proper calibration. As we increase the height, we carefully observed any deviation. And here's what we found. The alignment remains stable for short to medium distances. At longer distances, there is a slight drift. But again, this is expected in a budget tool. Now let's translate this into real-world use. For tasks like installing door frames, aligning vertical panels, setting up partitions, this level of accuracy is more than enough.
because these tasks do not require extreme precision. They require a reliable guide, and that's exactly what this tool provides. Another thing worth mentioning, the vertical beam is clearly visible indoors, which makes it easy to follow and mark. So you're not struggling to see the line, you're actually using it effectively. So overall, the vertical alignment performance is practical, not perfect, but dependable. And that's what matters on a job site. Now let's take things down to ground level. Floor testing is where real-world challenges start to appear, because unlike walls, floors are rarely perfectly flat. There are always small variations, slopes, surface inconsistencies, material differences. So we placed the Tavool Atom X5 laser level at one end of the room and projected the beam across the floor. Then we measured multiple points along the line. At shorter distances, the alignment holds well. The readings are consistent. But as we increase the distance, we begin to see minor variation. Now again, this is expected, because budget laser levels are not designed for long-distance floor leveling. But here's the important part. For practical tasks like tile layout, room marking, basic floor alignment, this level of accuracy is still usable. And the biggest advantage here is speed. Instead of measuring point by point, you get an instant visual reference. That reduces human error and improves efficiency. So even though it's not perfect for large-scale leveling, it's still a very useful tool for everyday work. Now let's take this tool outside, because this is where many laser levels struggle. Sunlight is one of the biggest challenges for laser visibility. So we tested the Tavool Atom X5 laser level under direct sunlight, and immediately you notice a drop in visibility. The beam becomes faint, and at longer distances it becomes difficult to see. Now, before you consider this a major flaw, let's be realistic. This is completely normal for this category. Even mid-range laser levels face the same issue. Laser beams are not designed to compete with bright sunlight. So, what's the solution? There are two practical options. Use a laser detector or work in shaded conditions. When we moved the test into a shaded area, the visibility improved significantly. The line became clear again. So the conclusion is simple. Indoors, excellent visibility. Outdoors, limited without support tools. And that's something you should expect from any budget laser level. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked, stability over time. Because accuracy is not just about one moment, it's about consistency. We ran the Tavool Atom X5 laser level continuously for an extended period and observed how it behaves. What we wanted to see was simple. Does the beam remain stable, or does it start to flicker, shift, or weaken? And here's what we found. The beam stayed consistent. No flickering, no sudden changes, no instability. That's a very strong positive, because in real work, you don't just use a tool for a few seconds. You use it for long periods, marking, aligning, adjusting. And if the tool is not stable, it becomes unreliable. Another important factor is heat. We checked the device temperature after continuous use, and it remained within a normal range. No overheating issues, which means it can handle extended working sessions. Now, is this industrial-grade durability? No, but for its category, it performs well, and that's what matters, because a tool that stays consistent is a tool you can trust.
Now let's move into the most important part of this review, real job site application. Because no matter how good a tool looks in testing, what really matters is how it performs in actual work. We used the Tavool Atom X5 laser level in multiple practical scenarios. First, tile installation. We projected the horizontal beam across the wall and used it as a guide, and the result was clear. The tiles followed a straight line. Spacing remained consistent, and the overall workflow became faster. Instead of measuring again and again, we had a continuous visual reference. Next, ceiling marking. We used the laser to create a level reference line across the room. This made it much easier to mark positions for ceiling installation, especially in larger spaces where manual measurement becomes time-consuming. Then, door frame alignment. We use the vertical beam to check straightness, and this is where the tool becomes really useful, because instead of guessing, you get a clear, visible guide. Now, is it perfect? No, but it reduces mistakes significantly. And in construction, reducing mistakes means saving time and money. So in real job site use, this tool proves to be practical. Now let's talk about efficiency, because tools are not just about accuracy, they're about improving your workflow.
The Tavool Atom X5 laser level helps eliminate repetitive tasks. Instead of constantly measuring, you get an instant reference line. That alone saves a significant amount of time. And when you're working on multiple tasks, those small time savings add up quickly. Another advantage is reduced human error. Manual measurements can vary. Even experienced workers can make small mistakes, but a laser line gives you a consistent guide. So instead of relying only on judgment, you have visual confirmation, and that improves overall accuracy. It also helps in teamwork. When multiple people are working, everyone can follow the same reference line, which keeps everything aligned. So the benefit is not just individual performance, it improves team coordination as well. And in real projects, that makes a big difference. Now let's answer a very important question. Who should actually buy this tool? The Tavool Atom X5 laser level is ideal for specific users. If you are a beginner in construction, this is a great starting point. It gives you the basic functionality you need without requiring a large investment. If you are working on small to medium projects, this tool is more than enough. It provides the accuracy needed for everyday tasks. It's also a good choice for DIY users, home renovators, technicians working indoors, basically anyone who needs a simple and reliable leveling tool. Now, if your work involves extremely high precision, then this may not be the right choice. But for practical, everyday use, it fits perfectly. Now let's talk about who should avoid this tool, because choosing the wrong tool can create problems. If your work involves long-distance alignment, this tool may not be ideal, because as distance increases, even small deviations become noticeable. Also, if you work mostly outdoors in bright sunlight, visibility will be a challenge, unless you use additional tools like a detector. Another important point, if your work requires certified precision, this tool is not designed for that. It is not a survey-grade instrument. So for large-scale or high-precision projects, you will need something more advanced. But again, that doesn't make this tool bad. It just means you need to match the tool with the job. Now, before we move further, I want your input. If you're working in construction or planning to buy a laser level, drop a comment below. WERTEST. I read every comment, and based on your feedback, I'll create a full comparison video where we test multiple laser levels side by side. Because choosing the right tool should be based on real results, not marketing claims. Also, if you're finding this video helpful, make sure to like it, because it helps push this content to more people. And if you want more practical reviews like this, subscribe to ASIF Build Pro Insight, where we test tools in real conditions. No hype, no bias, just practical results. Let's go deeper into what this tool actually is. The Tavool Atom X5 laser level is a cross-line laser level, which means it projects both horizontal and vertical lines. These lines act as guides for alignment and leveling. It is mainly designed for indoor applications, such as wall alignment, tile installation, ceiling layout, door and window positioning. The main focus of this tool is simplicity. It does not have complex features. It does not require technical setup. You just place it, turn it on, and start working. That simplicity is what makes it useful, especially for beginners. Now let's clearly break down the pros and cons, starting with the positives. The Tavool Atom X5 laser level is affordable. That's a major advantage. It's also very easy to use, no complicated setup. Indoor accuracy is good, and the device is stable during operation. Now, the limitations. Outdoor visibility is weak. Long-distance accuracy is limited, and the build quality, while decent, is not premium, so you need to handle it with care. Overall, it has clear strengths and expected limitations. So after all the testing, let's summarize performance. The Tavool Atom X5 laser level delivers reliable indoor accuracy, stable beam performance, simple usability. It struggles with outdoor visibility, long-distance precision, but within its category, it performs well. And that's what matters, because tools should be judged based on their purpose. And for its purpose, this tool does its job. Now let's put everything into perspective. In the budget category, we have tools like Tavool Atom X5 laser level, Pre-Exo P2LC15 laser level. These are practical tools, good for beginners at everyday tasks. Then we have mid-range tools, These offer better accuracy, better durability, and improved visibility. And finally, premium tools. These are designed for maximum precision, used in large-scale and professional projects. So the comparison is simple. Budget equals affordability plus practicality. Mid-range equals balance. Premium equals precision. And your choice depends on your needs. So here is the final verdict. If you're expecting high-end, professional-grade precision, this is not the tool for you. But if you're looking for a practical solution, a budget-friendly option, a reliable tool for everyday work, then the Tavool Atom X5 laser level is definitely worth considering. It does not promise perfection, but it delivers functionality. And sometimes that's exactly what you need. Because in real work, speed matters, consistency matters, practicality matters, and this tool gives you all three. If this video helped you, make sure to like it, subscribe to Asif Build Pro Insight, and comment TEST if you want a full laser level comparison video. And remember, the right tool doesn't just make your work easier, it makes your results better. See you in the next one.